Hey everybody, it's me, Richard, with Nightmares, Tears, Anyone. Today, I'm going to be doing a review on 2022's Floor 4. Brendan. Today I'm going to be doing a review on 2022's Floor 4. A novel of horror. Come back after the intro. Hey everybody, it's me, Richard. So, first off, you guys are going to notice I've got hot pink on today, and it says the original horror show, The Man Who Made a Monster. Yes, a Universal picture. Frankenstein! Can never go wrong with Frankenstein. Yeah. I've never read the book, seen the movie, and all of its sequels. So, you guys, today, first off, June 1st. I want to say happy Pride Month to everybody. I had my Pride shirt on earlier, but it's so hot here. I went to a couple appointments this morning, and I just, it was a sweaty mess. I had to change my shirt. This is one of my new shirts from one of my subscribers. He sent me 4 new shirts. You guys saw them in the last couple videos back. So, hot pink. Can't go wrong with hot pink on the first day of Pride Month. So, speaking of subscribers, if you guys haven't done so already, or if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button right there. I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up if you like my content. So, I want to welcome some new subscribers to this horror channel. No particular order. Let's welcome G Beach 20, Darlin O, William Castro. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. William used to follow me on my old channel. Thank goodness he found me again. Susan Johnson, Byram Publishing, Jen B, Tom Campbell, Ashley. Just says Ashley, but it has a lot of E's and a Y at the end. So, yeah, I'm sure Ashley, the first name was taken, but hey, pretty cool the way you added onto it. And 5 Dogs and Cats Are Us. So, you guys, welcome to Nightmares, Tears, Anyone. I'm Richard. I'm the crazy one that reads all this stuff, and then we talk about all things scary. So, you guys, speaking of all things scary, I've been watching a lot of scary movies lately. So, yeah, you guys, those reviews are hopefully going to be coming up soon. Like I said, it is so hot here. It's miserable. I'm drinking an iced white chocolate caramel latte. So, we are going to talk about this book here. Now, those of you that have read the novella, Floor 4, that came out 4 years ago, 3 years ago. This is the full-length book, part 1 and 2. Now, I'm gonna throw on my readers because, like I say all the time, you guys, it's a bitch getting old. Yeah. So, ooh, these are dirty. Hang on. Sorry they were dirty. So you guys, I'm going to read the back. A lot of you guys have never read A. Lopez Jr. before. The man can write. So this came out in 2022, like I said. And Jr. wrote to Richard, stay strong, stay you, keep the faith, Jr. A. Lopez Jr. Speaking of A. Lopez Jr., in 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully him and I are going to be able to collab, and we're going to do a Q&A with A. Lopez Jr. live here on the channel. So this is 2022's Floor 4. So it says on the back, an abandoned hospital haunted by the ghost of a serial killer. A group of friends too curious for their own good. An old man hiding a secret. The old and vacant St. Vincent Hospital is said to be haunted by the ghost of David Henry Coleman, a notorious serial killer known as the Mangler. Coleman died on the 4th floor after being shot by police. For Brandon and his new friends, their curiosity gets the best of them as they explore the dark halls despite old man Jake's warnings. No one knows of Jake's past connection to the serial killer and the hospital. Now, on the anniversary of the Mangler's death, a group of high school kids are planning a private party on the haunted 4th floor. That's hard to say after a while. It becomes a tongue twister. Jake must protect them from the true evil that lurks there, while Brandon falls deeper into the Mangler's supernatural world. This is the complete series. This novel follows Brandon after his first round with the Mangler to his family, leaving town seeking the help of a new doctor, one who specializes in nightmares. As they seek an end to 4 years of torment for their son, they discover it's only beginning again. Now, this is the cover I have on my book. This book is 343 pages. Now, some of you might recognize that cover. Yeah, that, the one with the red neon sign. Yeah, I think that's the Kindle cover, but you guys, I talked to Junior. He said I could read some snippets out of this book. You guys, I'm gonna read to you. So, these are the bookmarks that, Junior sent me. Oh, there's a better picture of that cover. So, I'm going to read to you guys. Well, first I'm going to read what I wrote on my Goodreads account, because it has been a week and 4 days since I read this. So, that's why I always publish my reviews right after I finish reading it. Here's my review. Those of you that don't follow me yet on Goodreads, you guys can find me at Richard K, middle initial K as in Kevin, period, Wilson, Wilson. Get ready for extreme nightmares with this one. Brandon, the Mangler, and Joseph Ricketts are back and ready for round 2. When you first crack this horror novel open, we find out that Mary Tompkins is the Mangler's 8th victim. And yes, the horrors start out on page 1 and never lets up. When Brandon and his friends decide to ride their bikes to the old abandoned St. Vincent Hospital to see if it's really haunted, they meet someone who will change their lives forever. This man is Big Jake, a cigar-smoking and wise man who is currently a security guard for the old asylum and tries to warn the boys to get out and never come back. Do they listen? Nope. I would. My ass would be out of there so damn fast. Author A. Lopez Jr. wrote the novella in 2014, then wrote the novel Night Dreams, which I have right up there. Phenomenal book. I showed that to you guys in a couple of reviews back. Night Dreams is sort of the prequel to meeting Dr. Joseph Ricketts. And let me tell you what, Lopez writings will give you nightmares, believe me. I hate having to wear my glasses. With this book being the full-length novel of both parts 1 and 2, it continues the horrors that you are introduced to in Floor 4, a novella of horror. Sarah, what are you doing? Sarah, go. With this book being the full-length novel of both parts 1 and 2, it continues the horrors that you are introduced to in Floor 4, a novella of horror. and it is scary. When I had found out that the author had written this being based on an actual St. Vincent's asylum that is still to this day considered very haunted, though it has been demolished, burned, and demolished again, I thought, why would you want to go into this building? Not me. Then I read the most terrifying book of a serial killer called The Mangler, also known as David Henry Coleman, and he is nothing to laugh at. His weapons of choice, rusty heavy chains, and a huge sickle. Yes. And we are not talking about those little tiny sickles that were used by those creepy ass kids in Children of the Corn. No, this is a big ass sickle. And he is very good at using them both. The scenes of horror in this book are so well written that it reminded me so much of when I first saw an old horror movie, The Fifth Floor, that was released in 1978, and it still leaves the creep factor to this day. Yeah, that movie, I'll never forget seeing it in 1978, and yeah, it still creeps me out. With part 2, Brandon's final nightmare, being added to the first part, it takes place 4 years later, and the boys are all in high school getting ready to graduate when they decide to have a party in the old hospital on the anniversary night of the Mangler's death. And it is soon to be a night they regret and will never forget for the rest of their lives. This book has the most disturbing scenes of ghosts, hauntings, slaughter scenes using that sickle that I described earlier, disturbing dream sequences, and even a haunted wheelchair like the one that we remember in, that classic haunted house movie, The Changeling, starring George C. Scott. And it is a book that you will not forget. Lopez knows how to scare the hell out of you, and he does it very, very well in this one. Highly recommended. And don't forget to also read his book, Night Dreams, which takes place way before Brandon, and it has Joseph Ricketts in it. This is where we first meet him. Another extremely scary novel of horror. Sorry, you guys, I have my retainer in, so I'm kind of like lisping. Yeah, I'm not making fun of anybody that does lisp. I think it actually is kind of sexy. But this gets 5 huge drops of blood. You guys, I am telling you what. This poor kid, well, he's not really a kid, because when we first met him in Floor 4, a novella of horror, Brandon's only like 13 with his friends, and these kids, I'm telling you what, I am going to read you guys some snippets out of this book. Now, I am not going to give any spoilers away. Junior said I could read, whatever I wanted to out of the book. He gave me the permission. So you guys, here goes. I'm going to read you guys some descriptions on how this man writes and what the hell you're going to come across in this book. So, I'm not going to read these in any particular order. I really, really like the way this book was printed, too. There's really cool splashes of blood and everything on the pages. So, I am just going to go for it, you guys. Mrs. Davis, is it okay if I get another cookie, he asked. She didn't respond, and the upper half of her body slumped over the sink, her arms dangling to her side. Brandon's hand froze as he reached for a cookie, staring at her. Something was wrong. Mrs. Davis? Her knees buckled and her face plunged into the water-filled sink. Brandon took a step back and looked around the kitchen, but nothing else seemed out of place. Not knowing if he was dreaming or delusional, he stepped towards Mrs. Davis. Her head began bobbing up and down, splashing the soapy water over the edge and down the cabinet doors. Brandon watched in disbelief as the white, soapy water began turning pink, and in seconds, a dark shade of red. So yeah, we know what's causing that. Her head rose higher and splashed down violently into the blood-filled water. Her arms still dangled, and her legs, slightly bent at the knees, went limp, her body being held up by some unseen force. Brandon's eyes grew wider as a tall, dark figure appeared behind her. It held her by a chain, tightly wrapped around her neck, and continued to slam her face down as blood spilled over the edge of the sink, running down to the floor. The all-too-familiar feeling of shock and helplessness held Brandon in place. He knew who this murderer was, the Mangler. Dressed in black, looked over his shoulder, staring back at Brandon. Laughter filled his evil grin, and he lifted her with the chain, her feet leaving the floor. He spun her body around, and Brandon immediately saw the source of the blood. Her eyes were gone, as blood poured from the dark, hollowed-out holes in her skull. Brandon finally snapped out of it and ran through the kitchen doorway to the living room, desperately seeking safety outside the front door. He tried to open the door. Locked. He turned the deadbolt and unlocked the door, never looking back as he opened the door to escape. The Mangler, holding his sickle and chain, waited for him just outside the door. Brandon screamed. You guys, this is just one scene. This book never lets up. And there's another scene I want to read right here. This scene actually, which one was it? I have two tagged here. But there were quite a few scenes in this book that actually gave me nightmares. Let me find out this one. So this is a scene between Brandon and Lily, and she's a high school friend of his at school, and she's kind of like in the same league as Brandon. Well, as I read on the back of the book, Brandon and his family moved to this small town for him to see Dr. Ricketts, Joseph Ricketts, who is a specialist on nightmares and dreams. And well, I'm just going to read this to you. So Lily smiled and took a seat next to him. Being this close to him always brought her comfort and security, especially today. My first 3 classes were busier than usual. I was hoping to catch you in the halls, but hey, it's okay. Here we are now. What's up? Yes, she replied, not sure how to bring it up. She didn't want him to think she was some kind of weirdo or a typical girl who overreacted to everything. Something's up, I can tell. Brandon pointed at her with a smile, flicking his finger. She smiled, relieved that he noticed. Now all he had to do was just let it out. I'm glad we have some time. I wanted to tell you about the dream I had last night. Was it a bad one? I mean, I know all about bad dreams. Well, yes, it was. He turned, throwing his leg over the bench to straddle it and face her. What was it about? She paused before continuing. Well, it started off with me outside at night. It was very dark, and I looked around and recognized my neighborhood and street. I couldn't hear a thing, though. It was like everything just went quiet. It was eerie, but the one thing I could hear was my heart pounding in my chest. I was scared, but didn't know exactly why. I just knew someone was after me, but I didn't know who or what. But something was out there. I went to run. I get back to my house, which was the next street over. She paused again and looked at Brandon. It's okay. I know how scary dreams can be. Thanks, but it got worse, she said. I turned and picked the fastest way and just ran toward my house. But the faster I ran, the farther away it seemed to get. I made it around the corner and finally I could see my house down the street. I was sweating and had this feeling that whatever was after me would not give up until it got me. All I knew was I had to get away, like now. So I ran faster until I made it to my driveway. I ran across the grass and got to the front door. I grabbed at the handle and tried to get in, but it was locked. Lily's words and breathing came faster now, her present state emulating her dream state hours earlier. So, she goes on to describe to Brandon this horrifying scene of her being chased by something. Now, I could ask you guys probably once, what do you think she was being chased by? And of course you guys would say the Mangler. But the scenes in this book, it's funny because I told Junior, we were chatting back and forth through emails and stuff, and like the title of my channel, this man can actually, he's actually brought me to tears. He writes about childhood in a way that like other authors I've talked to on the channel here, like Solomon Petchers and Jerry Roth and Brandon Burnson and DeGordick, who wrote the Witch House series. When you can write a horror novel as intense as this and write about characters that you care so much about that it actually brings tears to your eyes when you experience things that they're going through in a novel of horror, that's phenomenal writing. And yeah, it was a book that scared the living shit out of me. It gave me nightmares, and yeah, there were two scenes that actually made me tear up, and it just you guys, you just have to pick it. You have to pick it up. But those of you that are wondering, well, Richard, do I have to read the novella of horror? I would say, here's how I read them. I read Night Dreams, which was a chunker that is so much fun. It's a killer book. I've actually read it twice. I read Night Dreams, and then I read Floor 4, a novella of horror, and then Junior sent me this one when he released it a little over a month ago. And you guys, the book is phenomenal. I love the way his books are published. I would recommend buying a physical copy. I don't really like to read books on Kindle, and a lot of you guys know that because when I have a book on my Kindle, I always forget about them. But you guys, that's my review of A. Lopez Jr.'s Floor 4, a novel of horror. And oh my God, I love Brandon. I love Joseph Ricketts and Big Jake, and especially the Mangler. But there is a scene in there, you guys. Oh my God. And actually on the cover of the book, I don't know if you can see it, but see that wheelchair right there? That's the wheelchair. And then see the blood down here? And oh my God, you guys, here's the Mangler right here. You guys, the book will terrify you. And there are scenes in here that involve that wheelchair. And yeah, you can go online and go to Google. You can type in St. Vincent's Asylum. There's videos of paranormal adventures where they went inside. There's ghost hunters videos on there where they went inside, but hell no. And this is going out to Tammy Ellis. No way, girl. I know you love to go into these haunted buildings, and you guys, it's funny, speaking of Tammy, I've got a video coming up here in the next couple videos. Tammy has sent me some of the most beautiful but creepy as hell photos that she took while they were on their vacation going into the summer a couple weeks ago. And oh my God, you guys, you're not gonna believe these places that she loves to go in with a girlfriend of hers, and her 11-year-old daughter loves this kind of stuff. I wouldn't go in there. I'm too big of a chicken shit. Yeah, I'm too big of a scaredy cat. But you guys, thanks for taking the time out of your day. Thanks for stopping by. Pick up Floor 4, a novel of horror by A. Lopez Jr. And you guys, as always, live your life like a book. Just don't turn that last page, because when you do, it's over. And you guys, just hug those that are close to you. Hug people that are in your life. Tell them you love them. But always remember, have good nightmares. Pick up a good scary book. It's good for you. And you guys, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, you guys.